now dear students, we have added till now tracks between our components, and by using this route track tool, now it's time to add copper zones in our PCB. Copper zones are often used for ground and power connections because they provide a lower impedance connection than the traces. In order to add the copper zone, let's say I want to add my copper zone on the bottom layer. So let me show you my PCB before we add copper zone in 3D viewer, and let's flip it, and you can see this is how our PCB looks from the bottom side. Let me close this, and let's say I want to add copper zone on the bottom side or bottom copper. We have to now select the bottom copper, and over here you see this tool add fill zones. Click on this, and now you have selected the add fill zone tool. So anywhere over here outside of the PCB, click on the canvas, and now this dialog pops up. This says on the left side, either you want to add copper zone on front copper, on bottom copper, or you can even add both, add zones in both front and the back copper. But currently we want to add it to the bottom copper layer. So we have three nets, ground and this net and VCC, and as I said, we want to add copper zone in our ground, with the copper zone that is attached with the ground net. So over here let's click the ground, and now I have selected the net and with which that copper zone will be attached. Below here you can see some general settings like zone name, zone priority level, and the shape, outline, display, and these are few electrical properties like clearance, minimum width, and the pad connection. Either you want this pad connection as solid relief for PTH or none. Currently I have left it for thermal relief. So thermal relief gap, thermal relief scope, these are all the settings we will discuss in the coming sections and videos. So now we have selected as ground net for our copper zone and hit OK. Now you see a line that is attached with the mouse. Now we have to draw a closed shape around this PCB. So let's do it. Let me click over here, click over here, click over here, and let me zoom in so that I can attach. Now our copper zone is now in a closed shape. So we have added a copper zone in our PCB. So let's just click on this arrow to leave the tool and click this to zoom to fit. So this is how you see the color of this copper fill zone, that is blue, which means that it is added to the bottom copper layer. As we have we can see on the right side that the color of bottom copper is blue. Currently you will see nothing on the PCB as we have just outlined the copper zone, but we didn't have filled the PCB with this copper zone. So in order to fill the zone with the copper layer, you can do it by going to edit and fill all zone, or you can click B on your keyboard to fill it. So let me click on this, and now you can see that our copper fill zone is now filled. Let me show you again. It's filled because I just have selected this tool that is show only zone boundaries. That's why it's showing only zone boundaries. So if you click over here, you can see this PCB. Now let me do it again for you. Let me select this copper fill zone and hit delete. Now I have removed the copper fill zone. Let me save this. Let's do it again. Now I have selected to show fill zone area, and now again I click bottom copper and click add fill zone. Click over here and let's attach the ground net. Hit OK and let's add by clicking on the canvas and making a closed shape around the PCB. Just let's click over here and click this. Now we have closed the area around the PCB. So let's just click over here. Now you see that our PCB don't show any fill zone as I have just outlined the fill zone. So now let's do it. Go to edit and click fill all zones. Now you can see that this is the ground zone, copper fill zone that we have just added. So if you want to view this while designing the PCB, so you can simply click over here. This is to show the fill zone. If you click on this will hide the copper fill zone, but the copper fill zone is still present over there. So let's just click over here and now you can see that this is our copper fill zone that we have added in the bottom layer. And I just save it. Another thing I want to show you over here, you can see that this is the track that we have previously drawn for our ground net, but this pad is now also connected with this spoke, and this spoke. These are called the thermal reliefs that with which the copper layer is connected with this pad. Over here on the VCC side, you can see that this ground is not connected with the VCC because we have mentioned that this copper fill zone on the bottom copper is attached with only the ground net. So you can see that only the ground net is connected over this one with the battery and this one with the LED. And you can see over here that our ground net is connected with only this pad that has a ground net. So let's just zoom to fit and let me show you this in 3D viewer. Go to 3D viewer and let's flip it. Now you can see some changes, like this is the you can even see that the color is changed, but over here you can see that there is some layer that is connected with this pad. So let's just fit this with this. So these are the copper fill zones that we have added on the bottom side. Over here you can see that with this pad of ground pad of LED, this copper fill zone is connected, and with this the ground of the battery, this copper fill zone is connected.